Suzanne Summers, the beloved Three's Company star, whose bright smile lit up sitcom history. Lisa Marie Presley, Elvis's daughter, forged a haunting musical path that still reverberates today. Sinead O'Connor, the fierce Irish voice that reshaped pop with raw, unapologetic power. Jimmy Buffett, the laid-back pirate of song, turned beach escapism into a cultural anthem. Val Kilmer, Hollywood's chameleon, vanished into each role with relentless transformation. Amy Winehouse, the soulful queen whose troubled brilliance still echoes through modern music. Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, whose magnetic presence defined a generation. Matthew Perry, the sarcastic sitcom legend whose humor lit up the 90s television landscape. David McCallum, the veteran actor whose quiet intensity endured across decades of screen work. The first time audiences truly felt the weight of Robert De Niro's craft was not in a flash of dialogue, but in the relentless, grinding silence of a horsewhipping scene in Raging Bull. In that moment, the camera caught a bruised, sweat-slicked boxer, eyes narrowed on a distant prize, and the world recognized a new level of cinematic intensity, a level built on repetition, meticulous preparation, and an almost obsessive dedication to truth. De Niro's journey began in New York's Little Italy, where the streets themselves taught him observation. He soaked in the rhythm of neighborhood conversations, the cadence of taxi drivers, the raw edge of street vendors, all fodder for a future actor who would later swear he could hear a character's heartbeat before he spoke a line. After a brief stint at the High School of Performing Arts, he gravitated to the famed Actors Studio, where Lee Krasner's method teachings demanded more than imagination. They demanded lived experience. De Niro didn't just read a script. He lived it, rehearsing scenes on the same streets where his characters would later walk. His early career was a masterclass in disciplined apprenticeship. On the set of Mean Streets, he arrived with a notebook of street talk, a habit formed from listening to actual New Yorkers. He would spend hours in the back alleys, absorbing the cadence of a neighborhood bodega clerk, the way a boxer's shoulders slump after a loss. This habit of immersive research became his engine, driving each performance toward an unvarnished authenticity that the audience could feel in their bones. When Martin Scorsese called him for Taxi Driver, De Niro didn't just read Travis Bickle's monologues. He spent weeks riding the night shift as a cab driver, mastering the city's pulse. He learned the exact route to the Times Square billboard, memorized the flicker of neon lights, and practiced the iconic, "You talking to me?" line in a mirror until the phrase became a reflex, not a line. The result was a performance that felt less like acting and more like an exposure of a hidden urban psyche. The hallmark of De Niro's craft is repetition. For the role of Jake LaMotta in Raging Bull, he underwent a grueling 12-month physical transformation, gaining 60 pounds of muscle, then losing it to portray the boxer's brutal decline. He fought with a real heavyweight champion, sparring for hours to capture the visceral impact of every punch. He rehearsed every swing, every breath, until the sweat on his brow mirrored the blood on the screen. The infamous "You're a bum" scene was not a single take. It was the product of dozens of rehearsals, each one sharpening the edge of LaMotta's rage. De Niro's public image, tough, unflinching, a cinematic force, masks the private discipline required to sustain such intensity. While audiences saw a larger-than-life persona, behind the scenes he kept a ledger of daily script reads, a schedule of vocal exercises, and a regimen of physical conditioning that rivaled any athlete's. The pressure to maintain that standard became a silent partner, pushing him to seek roles that demanded more than fame. Characters that tested his limits, like the stoic mercenary in The Mission, the conflicted detective in Heat, or the weary mentor in Silver Linings Playbook. His commitment to craft also extends beyond performance. In the early 2000s, De Niro co-founded the Tribeca Film Festival, a platform designed to nurture emerging talent and preserve the collaborative spirit he cherished. He approached festival programming with the same meticulous eye he applied to a role, reading every script, meeting directors, and demanding that each film honor a standard of narrative truth. This venture reflects his belief that the art of filmmaking is a collective rehearsal, a continuous loop of creation and critique. Even as he ages, De Niro refuses to let his career plateau. He embraces roles that challenge his established archetype, appearing as a weary mentor in The Irishman, where he revisits Scorsese's world with a reflective, almost meta-awareness of his own legacy. He continues to produce, mentor, and advocate, reminding younger actors that craft, not celebrity, sustains a lasting career. His recent forays into streaming series and voice work demonstrate a willingness to adapt, to study new formats, and to apply his disciplined rehearsal methodology to whatever medium presents itself. The conversation between De Niro's public image and his private dedication is a study in balance. The world sees the hardened gangster, the relentless boxer, the charismatic mentor. Beneath that veneer lies a man who still spends mornings reviewing lines, evenings in the gym, and weekends dissecting a scene's emotional beats with the same intensity as his first day at the actor's studio. His career is not a finished chapter, but an ongoing rehearsal, a testament that mastery is a perpetual process rather than a static trophy. Robert De Niro stands today not as a relic of cinema's golden age, but as a living conduit between past legends and future storytellers. His craft continues to evolve, his standards remain uncompromising, and his presence on screen and behind the scenes proves that the pursuit of artistic excellence never truly ends. The legend walks among us, still sharpening his tools, still seeking the next role that will demand his full, relentless self.